Hi, my name is Melissa Daniels and I have strabismus. Strabismus is when your eyes are not pointing in the same direction and they don't really work together. And this channel and my website are all about how to get those eyes working together and get them aligned. And a huge piece of this is vision therapy. And the last few videos that I'm making in this series have been about what types of exercises should every person with strabismus or amblyopia be doing in vision therapy to have success. There's a lot of different types of exercises and things that you can do in a vision therapy program. And there's just a few things that I think every program should include. And so I'm doing this to help you understand like some of these important foundational pieces that you may not have thought were important. Also, that if there's something that you're like, hey, I haven't ever tried that. I've been in vision therapy for 2 years and I've never done that. Bring it up with your optometrist. Bring it up with your vision therapist. Maybe it's something that you can try. Every office does things a little bit differently. So I'm sure there's things that are at other offices that I've never tried that would be super helpful too. So these are just the things from my experience, things that have really been beneficial for me that I want to share with all of you. Before we jump in, just wanted to make sure you know that you can go over to learn.strabismussolutions.com for so many different resources. You can schedule a call with me. We can talk about where you're at in your journey, what the next steps might be, and I can just help you through all the parts of having strabismus, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, the whole thing. I'm here for you. All right, so far in this video series, we have talked about eye stretches and tracking and different basic eye movements. We've talked about how important it is to start at the peripheral and work towards central. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of those amazing peripheral activities that help get your brain using both eyes in your peripheral. So one of my favorites, and one that I think everyone should do in vision therapy, right? Like these are just, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. So some offices are more into the technology and some offices are more into not technology. So there are ways to do it in both areas. If you're not in a techie office, they're probably going to do it by putting what they call like a quoit or a gem on a projector, and they project it up onto the wall. And so essentially what's happening is you've got two circles that are offset from each other, and you wear special glasses so that each eye can only see one of those circles, and they're projecting up on this wall. So it's huge, and you get close to it so that you're only really seeing this ring with your peripheral vision. And so each eye is only seeing one, but if you can get that peripheral vision to use both of those eyes, it should start having some depth. And this is a really it's definitely like one of the first steps in trying to get the strabismus brain to start using both of those eyes together. It's a very safe place because it's so big, it's peripheral. So that's a great way to do it without technology, is using a projector onto the wall. I had amazing success with this where I wasn't able to get the depth on those small, tiny targets. I couldn't see any depth there because it was just too central. But when they put it up on the screen, it became a really big peripheral target. So that was super helpful. Using technology, there's ways that you can do this. There's a computer program for a 3D TV called VTS4, and this is only available to optometrists. But most vision therapy offices have it, and they have, a great big screen, and same concept. There's a big ring, and there's technically two of them. One eye sees each ring when you're wearing the special glasses, and it has depth. So it's the same idea as the projector, but it's just on a 3D TV. And again, you can start really close. You're working on getting that peripheral vision to work and get some fusion there. So not just you can see out of both sides, but you're actually fusing what the eyes are seeing to get that depth. This can take weeks and months to get anything. I remember it taking so long before I was able to see any depth. And then finally one day I was going in to tap the screen, and all of a sudden I felt like my hand was going through a donut, like this big ring on the screen. It was so cool. So it did happen eventually, but it took a lot of time just looking at it like, no, I don't see anything. One thing that helped is when my optometrist made it really, really big, and then he added this thing that made it shake. And once it started shaking, all of a sudden it like locked in my brain. So another way to get that stereo fusion with a large target that I've loved in vision therapy is through virtual reality. There's a lot of different programs. One of my favorites to get this big stereo is Equal Eyes, and a lot of people aren't familiar with it. it's definitely like a, I don't know, how do you want to say it? It's not made by like an optometrist, it's made by a patient. And there's a lot of different aspects of the app, but my very favorite and the one that I use for this is where he has what we call quoit, which is just a rope. And again, each eye is seeing a different rope, and you can offset them so it looks like it's coming towards you and away from you, and you can make it humongous. So it's working on the very, very outer edges of your peripheral, so you can make it really close and really big, so it's just peripheral, and then you can slowly move it away. And I love it. I think it's super powerful for getting that peripheral fusion. There's other VR apps that have some, not so much like the large peripheral stereo, but VR in general is going to help you start blending together that peripheral because it's just such a stimulating environment. Even just like a normal game like Beat Saber is going to help with that. And then the last one that I love in vision therapy, and I would love to say that every person with strabismus should definitely try a HoloLens, but they're just so few and far between, it just probably isn't possible. Like, there's just not a lot of offices that have a HoloLens. Like, you should definitely ask and try to convince your optometrist to get one, but they're pretty expensive, and yeah. Anyways, the HoloLens is just like virtual reality. You put on a headset, but it's actually projecting the image into your real environment. And again, this one has been super powerful in getting my brain to use those eyes together. And this even can go more central, but there are peripheral targets as well. And so I guess the point of this video is that there are a lot of different ways that your optometrist can work on this peripheral fusion. The hope is that you are doing these things in vision therapy. And when you're like, no, I want to work on like these like fine targets, I'm telling you, this peripheral fusion where you might not be seeing much yet, this is so important. This is so foundational. Once you get that and you can start backing up and making the target smaller and you getting further from the target, that is going to start helping you go in towards that central vision. But you've got to get it in that peripheral first. So that is something that every person, if you're in vision therapy and you haven't done anything with 3D targets that are really big, you better say something. Say, I want to work with the projected quoit. I want to work with VTS4. I'm sure you have, because there's such powerful exercises for strabismus. You're going to make a big difference. Let me know in the comments which of those you've tried in vision therapy, which ones have worked best for you.